Are you all there? Good morning, everybody. Today is class 3. I'm starting project management today. Say good morning, man. Good morning, Rupa. Where is Yashaswini? Every day she's first. Anjali, good morning, sweetheart. Yeah, Malikarjun, Rashid, Lily, Santosh, all good morning. Yeah, very, very. Come, come. Say hello. Very. See, here's Marcus. Good morning, everyone. Marcus is saying good morning. Spandana, good morning. Yeah. Before we start class, good morning. Ali Fardeen, good morning. Pavan, good morning. Yes. Shall we start class? Teja, good morning. Yahya, good morning. Yeah. Today we are doing project management. All right. What is a project and what is project management? Before I tell you what is project management, I have to tell you what is a project. All right. Are you all ready? I'm turning the laptop. Lily and Hadia, your children are watching me, is it? They are the youngest in the, yeah? They are the youngest. Priksha, good morning. Lavanya, good morning. Bharati, good morning. Yeah? They are my youngest students. Hadia tells me whenever I scold you all in the class, he laughs at Sims, her baby. Shilpi, good morning. Okay? Fine. I'll turn it to this side. Yeah. I think today I have enlarged the writing so that you all can see. Right? I have enlarged the writing. So today I'm talking to you about project and what is project management. See, what is a project? You can see, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. A project is temporary because it has a defined beginning and end in time and therefore defined scope and resources. See, a project is something that is not in the usual operations, not part of usual operations. If you ask me what is usual operations, you see in our department, you come, we have scheduled classes, you come to class, you answer your, answer your assignments, etc. This is all usual. Even your internal assessment, your external exams, this is all external. But for the external, usual operations, sorry, I made a mistake. Now, for an exam, you can say it's a project, for example. Not clearly in terms of project. Exams begin once, say the first semester exams begin and they end, isn't it? So you could not really a project. Let us assume exams are part of our daily operations. Now, we decide to have a program. Now, this program can be, say, we have invited some government official to come and talk about business opportunities or employment opportunities in Karnataka for MBAs in Bangalore, say, and then that becomes a project because the government official is not something like he has his daily operations. He ceases to do what he usually does and comes for a special lecture. All right. For us also, a special lecture, for us it becomes a project. It begins at one particular time, it goes on for so many hours or something, and it ends. Or we could have it as a whole day program where we have 2 or 3 people coming to give a lecture or something like that. We could have a panel of discussion, etc. Panelists discussing, etc. Isn't it? So in this case, it becomes a project. Project, first of all, a project is temporary. It happens, it happens, it's over, and it is not continuous. When it is continuous, it becomes regular operations. But when it doesn't continue regularly, then it is a project. So a project is temporary because it has a defined beginning and end, and therefore it also has defined scope and resources. Now, defined scope means what? What is scope? Imagine you see this my computer screen. Yeah, it ends here, begins here, it ends here, it begins here, ends here, ends here. So, scope is everything inside this, nothing beyond it. Do you understand? Everything inside this and nothing beyond it. So, that is the scope. In a project, it is necessary to define what is the scope of the project. Even when you give an employee a job, it is necessary to tell the employee the scope of his job. Why? Because if you say an employee has to do everything within this white screen and nothing beyond, suppose you don't tell him the scope, there might be something in this that he omits to do because he doesn't know he has to do everything in this screen. You understand? And at the same time, he may come beyond here and this black part of the screen, what he is not supposed to do, he may do. So, a scope is necessary in that. Why? You have to tell everything inside, nothing outside it. So, in a project, a scope is defined. Then, you need resources. What are the resources you require? You need capital. You need money, isn't it? You need capital. You need people to do the job. You need a place to do the job, isn't it? So these are the infrastructure, physical resources, money resources, all this, labor, capital resources, etc. So please understand, a project is temporary. It has a defined beginning and end, and defined scope and resources. I can see only 37 people. Where are the others, man? Okay. A project is unique. It is not something that is repeated. Once a project is decided, it is started, it is finished, it is finished. It's not a process that goes on and on. A process goes on and on. It is repeated. But a project is not like that. A project is unique. So we can say that it is not a routine operation, but a specific set of operations designed to accomplish a singular goal. So you have, let us say, I'll give you an example of a project that you and I can do. Let us say the Vice Chancellor has given us the responsibility of constructing an auditorium next to our department. Alright, so we'll call it, we have to give every project needs to have a name. So we will call this project Audi. Alright, so now henceforth when I discuss project management, I'm going to say Project Audi. Please remember that you MBA students and the staff are given, the office and us are given the responsibility of constructing an auditorium next to our department. So our project, first of all, we'll call it Project Audi. Now, understand that building a auditorium is not a routine operation. For us, teaching, you sitting in the class as students, your examinations, internals, assignments, all classes, everything are routine operations. But when you build an auditorium, it is a specific set of operations designed to accomplish the auditorium. Now, you also gave our project a name. Now we have to have a project team. Now see, we are teachers. Office people are office staff. You are students. But we are not capable of designing the building or building it, designing the auditorium or building it. To design the auditorium, we may require the help of an architect. We may need civil engineer to construct. We have an architectural department in the university. So we will import or we will bring some professor from the architecture department to design the auditorium. And we have an engineering department in the university, and they will come. Say one engineer among them will be given the responsibility of constructing the civil works he will do. So you will understand that finance maybe we will handle in the department, and the project leader we could say is someone, say maybe someone from the department could be the project leader. Okay, and because it is for our department, someone from the department will be a project leader, and along with that in the team we will bring someone who is not related to our department from the architecture department. So team, you have unrelated people brought together. You have an engineer for civil construction works and you have an you have an architect to do the architectural work. Then you may have other people like masons, etc. brought in for the work. For finance, we may handle. Then there is a project leader. Alright. So please remember, a project team includes people who are from different organizations and across multiple geographies. Next, for example, this example I took from a website called PMI. PMI is Project Management Institute. PMI offers a course in project management. Once you pass this course, you will get, suppose you are interested in doing project management, you get a better position in wherever you are working, because you will be an expert in project management. I have 2 or 3 students of mine who have done project management courses. They have also tried a stint abroad and they are in very good positions in India too. So this project management course can be done from the Project Management Institute. Now from their website I have taken this example, the development of software for an improved business process. Okay, development I will, yeah, one second. Where are the others, man? Lavanya, Bharti, Shilpi, Kishan, Roshan, Basavraj, yeah, Sabin, Sujan, Anjali, Zulfati, Sabin, who is this? I missed somebody. Before Dev, who is there, man? Prashant, Kilara, Nagma, Ravi, Devika, Bhavna, Biki, Naresh, Lakshmi, Tejas, Nina, Varsha, Shrisha, Kavya, Annapurna, Sunil. Yeah, good morning, good morning. Now see, I was telling you, the example here of a project is the development of software for an improved business process or construction of a building or a bridge. You know, you have these magic boxes on the road, you know. Magic boxes are some square, you know, like this. They construct a tunnel, and instead of reinforcing it with cement, what they do is these kind of magic boxes like this are factory made. They are brought by cranes and fit into the tunnel. Alright, Mithun, good morning. They are just fit into the tunnel. These are called magic boxes. You must have seen there will be an underpass somewhere and suddenly you will see that it is ready. They will dig the place for the underpass and they'll bring this factory constructed magic boxes and fit it into that tunnel. So instead of reinforcing with concrete and then waiting, etc., these magic boxes are already reinforced and ready. So it takes a shorter time to fit this. For example, imagine that fixing a magic box is also a project. So you have construction of a building or a bridge, as I gave you an example, construction of an auditorium beside by the side of our department, etc. Then sometimes there is some natural disaster, say there was a tsunami. The relief effort after a natural disaster also can be termed as a project. Yeah, the expansion of sales into a new geographic market. Imagine you want to go and say rural, you do not have you are in a company where the products do not have a rural market. So project rural market could be a project for you if the name is say project rural India or something like that. Okay, so this is the way. All these are example of projects. See, it is necessary. Why are we doing projects? Why are we learning projects? Why are we learning project management? Because there's a tripod. Time, cost, quality. Tripod of time, cost and quality. If you want very good quality, you have to spend more money maybe. So cost will increase, quality will increase. Something like this. So you do not want cost to increase, but you want to have good quality. At the same time, if you want to have good quality, you have to let some works get cured maybe. So time suffers. You cannot give give the project in time. So time, cost and quality is a tripod which is difficult to manage in a project. That is why, and there are other issues also. So you have to deliver on time, on budget, cost. On time is time constraints, on budget cost, and then it is always necessary to have some lessons learned recorded. What did we learn in this? What are the problems that can happen? What are the problems? What are the expenses we can incur over and above the budgeted expenses? What can happen? Can there be escalation of costs, etc., etc.? You understand? So we need to deliver on time, on budget, learn and integrate all that into the next project. So that is why we do project management. So far I have explained to you what is a project. 1 minute. Asha, Mahesh, Sachin, Munireddy, Kavya, all good morning. Alright, now we'll come here. Project management. I explained to you what is a project. I hope you understood. Now, project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. Alright, what is to manage? When there is a risk, you have to mitigate the risk, and this is management. Alright, putting all resources together efficiently and getting results is management. So in a project it is, you have to apply your knowledge. See, I said finance knowledge from our department, engineering knowledge from the engineering department, architectural knowledge from the architectural department, all come together to make this is the application of knowledge to make the project auditorium. Then skills, you understand, tools required and techniques. So we apply all this to project activities to get a project done efficiently, and this itself is project management. Managing a project efficiently within the given resources, time, cost, etc., etc., is project management. You understood what's a project? What is a project management? Now, before I go ahead, I would like to show you one, 1 minute. I would like to show you a video. How toothpaste is made. 1 second. Just hold on, I'll just raise the volume.
Solve your cosmetic problems. Regular brushing with toothpaste, using your breath and yes. Dentists recommend brushing after every meal. Now, while most of us don't follow that rule every day, on average, you'll still spend so what goes into
Hold on a
chew
second.
toothpaste? It probably doesn't smell too good either. While it can't solve your cosmetic problems, regular brushing with toothpaste will freshen your breath and your smile. Dentists recommend brushing after every meal. Now, while most of us don't follow that rule every day, on average, you'll still spend more than 3,000 hours of your life brushing your teeth. So what goes into a tube of toothpaste? Production of our favourite flavoured fluoride protection starts in factories like this one. The chemical ingredients arrive in 750 kilogram sacks and include aluminium hydroxide, calcium carbonate and xanthan gum. Together, these complicated sounding chemicals will work towards one simple aim: to protect teeth from decay. Specific quantities of each chemical are measured into large containers ready to start the process of cooking up the basic toothpaste. The barcode on each trolley helps keep track of individual batches. Once the ingredients are fully combined, they're sent off to be cooked. The mixture has to be heated in large aluminium pots to prevent any unwanted chemical reactions from occurring inside the toothpaste mix. Modern toothpaste has many positive benefits, including keeping teeth white. Obviously, it also helps protect against painful gum diseases and cavities, and it can even alleviate bad breath. Back in the cookers on the factory floor, the mixture is combined to form a dough-like substance. Each batch makes enough toothpaste to fill around 30,000 tubes. When the boiler is opened up, it looks like a large mixing bowl full of icing on the inside. Spatulas are used to scrape off any excess clinging to the mixing blades. And now it's time to add some colour. Although it doesn't contain any active ingredients, this mixture will form the famous multicoloured stripes. Research shows that buyers prefer the stripy variety over the plain old white product. The coloured liquid is mixed with the plain toothpaste. Although its synthetic shade of green might look nasty, it's perfectly safe for humans to use. After combining with the basic mixture, the final concoction is less garish. It will form part of the stripy finish produced by a squeeze on the multicoloured tubes of toothpaste. Toothpastes come in a range of colours and flavours. The most popular and familiar variety is probably peppermint. Chemists get this and other flavours into the mixture by using essential oils. A gas chromatograph is used to break the oils down into their component parts. This way, the basic makeup can be seen at a microscopic level. By combining different quantities of various oils, the chemists can recreate almost any flavour they want. A dedicated testing department spends hours each day trying the new flavours. They also test the factory's regular brands, and if any of them aren't right, that batch can be isolated. Meanwhile, back on the factory floor, it's time to load up tubes with dental defense, in this case the stripy variety. Each different colour enters the system through a different pipe. Worldwide demand for toothpaste is enormous, and so factories like this one have a lot of work to do. Each machine can fill 180 tubes every minute. But how do the manufacturers get the stripes evenly throughout? Well, as you can see, with these clear dummy tubes, each colour is injected at the same time from a different nozzle. This way, each stripe runs along the length of each tube. All that remains is to pack them up ready to fill the wash bags of the world. To make sure each box is full, they're all weighed. 24 tubes should come to just over 1,350 grams. Any boxes that don't contain enough tubes won't make that weight and are immediately removed. Only full boxes are sealed up to be sold. So if you know you're going to spend over 3,000 hours of your life standing in front of a mirror brushing, don't look at it as time down the drain. Think of it as time well spent protecting and polishing that winning smile.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was, I hope you could see it also. It was how to make toothpaste, right? So we'll go back to project management. Yeah, so far I've taught you what is project and what is project management. Now I'll give you a little bit about, see, project management and all I cannot rush, okay? I will take it step wise. So now I'm going to tell you, I have told you what is project management. Now we will talk about different things in project management. I have tried to give very large, okay? Project management has processes. There are 5 processes and they fall into the following groups. One is initiating, second is planning, third is executing, fourth is monitoring and controlling, and fifth is closing or closure. Just as you initiate and start, you also have to close. Alright? So let us look at this. The first one is initiating the project. Alright? I have tried to give you very large writing because yesterday you could not see the writing, isn't it? So I'm sure you can see now. The project manager defines what the project will achieve and realize, and he works with the project sponsor and the stakeholders to deliverables, to give the deliverables. What are deliverables? Deliverables are the end product of the project. Excuse me. In my example of project Audi, we are going to design, build and finish an auditorium next to our department. So in this, the deliverable in project Audi would be the auditorium itself. Now here there are 2 or 3 words that you should understand. The first word is who is the project sponsor. See, the management is usually the project sponsor because money has to be given, isn't it? Money has to be given to make the project, yeah, and also there has to be someone who will continuously, there has to be commitment from the top management. So the top management is usually the project sponsor. Who are the stakeholders? In the case of project Audi that we are talking about, that is the auditorium that we are going to construct next to our department, the sponsor would be the university. The vice chancellor, who is the head of the university, would be sanctioning the project and he would be the project sponsor. Well, and also maybe we have to include the government of Karnataka because we are a state university. They will be approving the project and giving the money, etc. So who are the stakeholders? The university, the government of Karnataka, the professors of the university who will be using the building, the staff of the non-teaching staff of the university who would want to use the building, the students who would want to use the building, and all of us want to have a very nice auditorium. So we are the stakeholders. Is that clear? So there is a project sponsor. Please understand, in project management, we have a project sponsor and we have stakeholders. What do? We have a project manager or a project leader. You can say the same thing, project leader or project manager. And what does he do? He defines what the project is in the initiating process. He defines what is the project. Like as I told you, he defines the scope. How big is the auditorium? What is the budget? How long can you take to build the auditorium and finish it? So these are the things that are developed in the initiating phase of the project. So we have finished the first phase, that is initiating the project. Next we come to planning the project. Now, in this phase, we have something called a project charter. CHARTER. A project charter contains everything about the project. It contains what is the project, what is the budget, who is the project leader, who are part of the project team, how long you're going to take, how you're going to do the project, everything, who are the stakeholders, who is the sponsor, everything is included in a document called the project charter. So here in the planning phase, the project manager records all the tasks. Who is to do what? Engineer has to do the civil works. Architect has to do the architectural design. Who will build it? Who will be the finance manager? When do you start? Everything. So all the project manager records all the tasks and assigns deadlines for each, as well as stating the relationships and dependencies between each activity. What is the relationship? What is the meaning of relationship? That, for example, the project leader or the project manager is the head of the project. Everything has to go through him. The finance manager will supply the finance. You want some money, you have to apply to the finance manager. Finance manager takes the approval of the project leader or the project manager and gives the money. So who has to do what, and to whom you have to report, who will report to you? All these are relationships and dependencies. Finance depends on the finance manager. Finance manager's approval depends on the approval of the project leader. So these are financial dependencies, relationships between each activity. This is done in the planning phase. We'll go ahead. The third phase is the execution or the actual implementation of the project. The project manager builds the project team and also collects and allocates the resources and budget available to specific tasks. You have to do digging, foundation. So out of the money allotted, foundation costs are so much. That is the allocation. Then for transportation of materials, this is the budget given. For the procurement of materials, this is the budget given. So in the execution stage, the project manager builds the project team. Remember, he puts the project team together, also collects the resources. It is his job to see that the funds that the university releases are put into one account called, say, auditorium account or whatever, and then he allocates the resources. How much for transportation? How much for foundation? When will I release the money? When will the finance manager release the money? When we have to sit? Please remember, generally in project management, we have review committee, and every week the project review committee sits to find out what we have we done properly, etc. Now, in my next class, I will show you something called a Gantt chart. GANTT. In one of my previous classes in the first semester, I must have taught you what is a Gantt chart. You must have seen a tapeworm in your school, isn't it? A long tape with segments. So imagine each segment is a date, and in a Gantt chart, you can have, suppose the project is very big, like auditorium takes maybe a year to build. So there might be 12 segments in that long tape, and each segment may represent 1 month of the year. Suppose your project is going to stretch for 1 year, and then at the end of the month you are supposed to do this much work. Foundation has to be finished at the end of, say, 2 months. At the end of 2 months, the review committee will sit and see, have we really achieved what was supposed to be achieved? Is that clear? So review committees are a must in project management. So in the execution phase, the project manager builds the project team, he collects the resources, allocates them, and also the budget for specific tasks. Now comes the monitoring. The fourth phase, the project manager oversees the progress of project work and updates the project plans to reflect actual performance. As I just now said, you will have some targets to achieve every month. In the project auditorium, if we say we just go on to 1 year, and then after 2 months, by 2 months the foundation has to be finished. Then at the end of 2 months, the project manager along with his review committee sits and says, have we achieved what we had planned? If we have not achieved, why we have not achieved, and by when we should achieve this, etc. Alright. So actual performance may be that we finished, instead of 2 months, we have still about 5 days work to be completed, which means we are lagging behind. Suppose instead of 2 months we finished in 25 days, we finished 5 days earlier. Why? Because we have a very good working team, a very good mason, very good construction workers maybe, or planning has been good. So we have to try and finish the project even earlier than time. For example, if we have not achieved the foundation within 2 months, why have we not achieved? And will we finish it in 5 months? Okay, we have extended by 5 months. We cannot extend it for 1 year. Which is the activity that we can squash in a smaller space of time, so that we can achieve building the auditorium in 1 year? This is what we are looking at. The fifth one is closing. The project manager ensures the outputs delivered by the project are accepted by the business and closes down the project team. Now see, when you start something, you cannot leave it open. It has to finish it. See, once the auditorium is completed, we have an inaugural, isn't it? That is the finale of the project Audi. Alright? We have to finish the project, we have to inaugurate it and said, okay, our project auditorium is finished, it is completed. We have completed it within a year. So, the project manager has to hand over the auditorium to the university and say, my work is done. This is the money I have spent. This is the time I have this thing. This is the quality. Come and see. You can inaugurate the project, and I'm closing the project. My workers are paid. Everything is done. Okay. So these are the 5 things that go into the 5 stages of project management. Now, please remember, there are 10 subsets in a project, or 10 areas that we have to cover. In a short, before I continue, I will give you one more, I would like you to see one more video on, factory visiting, right? Like factory visiting, I would like to give you one more video. I hope you are following. I can see only 45 people today. Yeah, I don't know why. We did toothpaste, no? Okay, now we are going to make glass beads. Hold on a bit. I will adjust all this and then I will start. Okay. Okay, here we are. Now we are making beads, glass beads. All right. Hope you can see. I'll just start in a minute. Okay. Suddenly the volume has gone off, man. Hold on, I will just check why the volume has gone off. Sorry, the volume doesn't seem to be there. I'll try and explain how much I can. Now this video is about how to make glass beads. You see, this is a glass piece and this one, I think they are heating it. Okay, see, I think this is the glass piece. They are heating it and they want to make glass beads. You can see this is the glass that is being heated. Alright, and as he is heating, he is moving it circular wise so that you get a bead. See, this is the bead that is forming. Can you see that? See, this is the bead that has formed. This is the glass piece that is getting melted, or perhaps this is a rod in which there is a glass. See, you have a glass bead here. He has taken it on that so that you have a, see, in the middle of this glass bead, you will have a aperture for the string to pass. Can you see that? A glass bead is being formed here, and this iron rod is passed through that glass bead so that you can have an aperture to pass the thread. See, obviously they want a bigger glass bead. So from this, these are the glass, these are the pieces of glass. They are adding some more. Now the glass bead is done. See, they are turning it to make it circular. As the glass melts and goes round, you can see that the glass bead is getting rounded nicely. There is reflection, is it? Is that better? Okay. Now these are all the glass beads. Okay. I hope there is no reflection. Yeah. You see? These are the glass beads that are made just now. You can see this is the glass bead. Glass bead. Now see here. This is the bead that is made. This is the piece of glass. This is the glass bead. And he is applying more and more melted glass to this glass bead so that it becomes nice and round. I hope, Sujan, now it's better. Yeah, can you see the bead now? Beautifully coming, and they're turning it so that, as the melted glass goes round and round, it looks, he's turning it gently. See, beautifully done. And you see how he's made the aperture so that you can pass a thread into that bead. See how the bead is made? I think that black slab added some color to it. I'm not sure. See, he's adding some color. When you burn it, the color gets embedded into the bead. See? He's trying to make it round, I think, in a mold. When you make a clay pot, you just heat it afterwards, isn't it? You put it in the fire to get hard. So something like that. All right, I think that's it. That's it. Hang on a minute. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed that. I showed you two videos today: how to make toothpaste and uh, how to make glass beads.